Every single thing that Israel says is a lie. Now, this is not just Israel. Every government lies. The American government lies all the goddamn time too. Dude, he's not mincing his words at all. It's crazy. How is this better coverage than BBC, man? Shame on the BBC. Shame on CNN. Shame on all Western news publications that are getting outflanked by one fucking singular dude, Trey Yingst, who I've talked about quite a bit. He is Fox News' foreign correspondent. Israel admits mistake over medic killings in Gaza. We're obviously going to start with that. This is not exactly a fun story to start off with, but it's a very important one. My coverage on this is not just going to talk about the atrocities, but instead I'm going to be talking about the Western reception and the media, the media criticism side of this, because it's yet another disgusting story that you guys are familiar with. BBC just tiptoeing around, huh? Dude, I know. The command over the English language that these guys demonstrate whenever they want to talk about Israel doing something horrifying never ceases to amaze me. I saw an article headline that was so insane that it just wasn't even English anymore. It wasn't even the English language anymore. It was just something different. It took a life of its own. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Dude, this is the Jerusalem Post, right? Like look at this. IDF tries to reset narrative on mistaken killing of 14 Gazan aid workers. Bro, at that point, just don't even try. I don't know what you're doing. What does this mean? What does anything mean? What is this title, bro? Look, the Jerusalem Post obviously is uniquely bad. So they're not in the business of like educating people on the truth at all. And this kind of stuff basically proves, oh, this is what I was looking for. This was the original title. What is happening to the English language? IDF tries to reset mistaken killing of 14 Red Cross workers. IDF tries to reset narrative on mistaken killing of 14 Gazan aid workers. What does that mean? What like tries to reset? Like they try to bring him back alive? Is that what happened? Trey Yingst, who I've talked about quite a bit. He is Fox News' foreign correspondent, as you guys know. And he is one of the only major news publication journalists that has actively called out Israel. It's so insane that he is the Fox News foreign correspondent. He is their guy in Israel. He's done a lot of, pro-Israel propaganda, make no mistake. But in the sea of that pro-Israel propaganda, he is one of the only journalists in any mainstream publication that has demonstrated a clear conscience on the assassination of his colleagues that happen to be Palestinian. It is crazy that it's the Fox News guy. And now he's also covering the unmarked mass graves of the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, the first responders that Israel assassinated.
Paramedics from the Palestine Red Crescent dig through the earth of southern Gaza. They're recovering the bodies of their colleagues killed by Israeli forces. On March 23rd, first responders were dispatched to this area of Rafah. When they arrived, Israeli soldiers opened fire.
Health workers should never be a target, and yet we're here today digging up a mass grave of first responders and paramedics.
On March 31st, the IDF provided a statement to Fox News saying, quote, several vehicles were identified advancing suspiciously toward IDF troops without headlights or emergency signals. Video released 5 days later by the Palestine Red Crescent directly contradicts that statement. The IDF also claimed in the initial findings that 9 out of the 15 medics were operatives in Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Asked multiple times for evidence to support that claim, none was provided. Funerals were held late last week for those killed by Israeli bullets. Families mourning the dead, mothers trying to make sense of the senseless. He went to save the martyrs and injured.
Dude, he's not mincing his words at all. It's crazy. He's not. Like, how is this better coverage than BBC, man? A shame. Shame on the BBC. Shame on CNN. Shame on all Western news publications that are getting outflanked by one singular dude who, on normal circumstances, is still doing a steady flow of Hasbara. But in this circumstance and in some other unique instances where he'll just be like, no, this is bullshit. How is it that there's like a handful of mainstream reporters that every now and then will accurately cover the news? How is that the expectation here? It's crazy.
And we've been waiting for him for a week. We were told that he was either martyred or injured, but I realized that they had killed them from the very first moment. They had killed them and buried them underground. As bodies of these medics rest inside white plastic bags with a photo attached, the face of Rifat Radwan stands out, the man who recorded his final moments with a final message. Forgive me, Mother. This is the path I chose, to help people, he said.
Israel is based as sick, man. It's so funny that Israel dick riders don't realize that they're contributing to people hating Israel with the ways in which they choose to defend Israel and the horrifying actions that they even try to cover. His last words were praying to God. He says, "Forgive me, Mother. This is the path I chose to help people." He was found in a mass grave with a bullet inside his head, alongside all of the other paramedics, alongside all of the other Red Cross workers. Israel had buried them and the ambulances as well in an effort to hide it. And predictably, Israel did the exact same things that they do. Number one, Israel does not mention any of the atrocities or even run defense for any of the atrocities that it commits normally until Western media starts making a fuss about one of the horrible acts that it has committed on a daily basis. They do stuff like this all the time. We cover it here all the time. Our coverage on this, of course, is not the same as the New York Times covering it or CNN. The only reason why you're even hearing about this story or Israel responding to the story by lying is because they had to respond to it. And once they respond to any of the horrible actions that they're engaging in, the playbook is always the same. First, they say they were Hamas. Then more evidence comes out. Then they say, okay, maybe they weren't Hamas. We mistakenly thought that they looked like Hamas. Then more evidence comes out. They say, okay, even the footage itself shows that there was not even a single piece of evidence that could lead us to believe that they were in any way, shape, or form remotely suspicious. They lie about the most basic shit. They lied in this situation saying like the ambulances did not have their lights on. They were moving in a suspicious way. There was a Hamas militant in the ambulance. They just lie about everything, every part of this. That also is directly contradicted by the truth. They turn around and they go, okay, we're going to investigate ourselves. It was a mistake. That's the final stage. And then months later, when people follow up, they either say, yeah, we're still conducting an investigation, or never conclude the investigation. Or if they do conclude the investigation, they'll say, sorry, we're not going to punish the people. Basically a tap on the wrist at most. That is literally the only thing that ever happens. And I tweeted about this earlier today. I was like, look, if this is new to you, that Israel lied again, Israel, one, engaged in a horrifying act of violence that you read about in history books, and then directly lied about it, and this is shocking to you, then you shouldn't be a journalist. You shouldn't even be out in the real world without adult medical supervision at every stage. You will have to be the dumbest person on the planet to be like, oh, I can't believe Israel lied again. Like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, the other side of the story is they'll say, what about Syria? Or you're anti-Semitic for even criticizing Israel. Every step of the way. Israel. I know we lied about the ambulance workers, Shifa Hospital, Flower Massacre, beheaded babies, Hamas Hospital, Hind Rajab, the terror list, days of the week, World Central Kitchen workers, babies in ovens, white phosphorus, deliberately starving Gazans, Sinwar surrounding himself with 20 hostages in a tunnel, gassing hostages, the Al Ahli Hospital, killing women and children with white flags, mass rape of Palestinians, non-existent tunnels under graveyards, Nasser Hospital, Hussam Abu Safia, mass graves, snipers targeting kids in the head, providing protection to criminal gangs to loot aid, wiping out Gaza, who refused/collapsed the ceasefire, Israel did, blowing up, and then lied and said it was Hamas, blowing up the Gazans fleeing south, Kamal Adwan Hospital, claiming dead Gazan children are dolls, creating safe zones, the general's plan, how many Hamas militants were killed, Red Crescent taking part on October 7, calling killed journalists Hamas militants, Mohammed Abu Salmiya, the Indonesian hospital, UNRWA Al-Auda Hospital, killing women sheltering at church, bombing the church, destroying every single Gazan university, the Turkish Cancer Hospital, Hamas hiding giant stockpiles of fuel in Rafah, finding active smuggling tunnels in Rafah, hostages returning pregnant, who killed Yossi Sharabi, Itai Svirsky, Nick Bazer, Ron Sherman, Elia Toledano. Every single thing that Israel says is a lie. It is infinitely. I mean, look, you can count the times that Israel is being truthful in one hand, as opposed to every single thing that they say. Now, this is not just Israel. Every government lies. The American government lies all the goddamn time too. The difference between Israel and the United States of America, at least the lies that they've told in the past and the lies that they kind of continue to tell now, the difference between Israel and America is that because there is such an airtight consent manufacturing machine due to Israel's aligned interest with the American State Department, that they don't even see the need to lie in a sophisticated manner. There's two factors at play here. One, the severity of the violence makes it virtually impossible to lie about or impossible to turn a blind eye to because they are so horny for bloodshed, both in Israel and the IDF is demonstrating that bloodshed on a daily basis. But on top of that, there is not really any mechanism of pushback. There's no interest in covering this issue truthfully because it's all the way over there from Western media in general. When they lie, there's rarely ever any pushback. This is one of the few instances of documented lies that Israel has partook in an effort to defend, again, something indefensible. And everyone is acting like they're so shocked by this. Like I saw Barak Ravid covering this in Hebrew, talking about how much shame Israel has brought, how much shame the IDF and the Israeli officials have brought to the great Jewish state because they've really broken the bonds of trust with Western media with this one. Oh no, you really it up here. And it blows my mind because it's like, it's not even any different. What do you mean they it up? It's not like they've ever seen any repercussions. Why would their expectations be any different this time? The only reason why this became a major story after Western press straight up omitted key details from this issue by refusing to talk to the Palestinian Red Cross workers and acting like they were inaccessible. The New York Times, the paper of record, could not reach out to the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. Like, that's crazy. An insult to the profession at a time when it is needed the most. Insane. The only reason why we found out about it is because they uncovered the mass graves. And after that, Israel predictably lied about it, and the media played along with it. But this brave first responders' phone camera footage was found in the aftermath that directly contradicted the Israeli narrative surrounding it. That's literally the only reason. It's a miracle that the footage from the guy's phone got out. It's not a miracle. It's incompetence. Or rather, it's not even incompetence. It's actually hubris. The Israeli terrorists that assassinated these healthcare workers didn't even go through their phones or break their phones or anything like that after assassinating them because they're like, nobody cares. That's it. That's what it is. And the entitlement and the arrogance demonstrated by the Israeli state, because who's going to check them, is the reason why they don't even feel the need to try and massage the narrative and just straightforwardly lie. If this footage had not come out, it wouldn't even make a blip. Because let me tell you something. This is not the first time they've done this. They've done this virtually every week since October 7. I mean, like directly killing healthcare workers, okay? They've done this. They've done this hundreds of times since October 7. They did this to Western aid workers. So why is that even remotely surprising that they would think that, this is business as usual? It is business as usual. I can't even fault the average American for being horrified by this instance and being shocked that a foreign state would lie so openly, so deliberately, without any care whatsoever. Because if the only news that you're hearing is from outlets that write titles like this: Israeli military changes account of Gaza paramedics killing video after video of attack. Video footage appears to contradict Israeli account of Gaza medic killings. Appears to contradict. Like, things that you can observe with your own eyes. Hard data, hard evidence itself still is at odds and contradicting the statements made by the Israeli government. It's like, why is the Israeli government that has so consistently lied without in the least sophisticated ways possible, as a matter of fact, why is that a higher point of authority than like things that we can see and observe with our own two eyes, things that we can hear? It's insane to me. It's like straight up 1984. Don't believe your lying eyes. And even in spite of this media blockade, in spite of the media's best attempts, the Western media's best attempts, people are still aware of at least a fraction of the cruelty, and the limited amount of cruelty that they see is enough for them to go, this is insane. What are we doing?
One of 15 killed.
His phone was found with his body, and he recorded the whole event. His last words before being shot: "Forgive me, Mom. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to save lives."
The footage only emerged when teams could safely reach this site 7 days later. The bodies were buried along with the vehicles. Regular practice, the army says, to protect them from animals. The UN called this a mass grave. Israel's account was already in question. The only paramedic to live through the shooting told us earlier this week they had their lights on and it was clear they were medics.
I am the only survivor who saw what happened to my colleagues, and I will expose the crimes committed by the occupation against them.
On Tuesday, Israel's response was in defense of its forces.
The IDF did not randomly attack an ambulance. Last Sunday, several uncoordinated vehicles were identified advancing suspiciously toward IDF troops without...
Oh, my bad. Big mistake. We made a big mistake, guys. It's not a mistake. You're ethnically cleansing the strip. It's a killing field. It's not a mistake. This is also a lie. When they say this is a mistake, no. The mistake is you foolishly thought that people would not uncover the mass graves that you had put forth. And then also on top of that, you thought that the Western media wouldn't care about the story as much, or you thought that even if they did care about the story, there wouldn't be any real footage, any real evidence, hard evidence beyond firsthand accounts of Palestinians, which obviously nobody cares about because Palestinians are not seen as human beings in Western media. Yeah, it's not random, it's indiscriminate. Exactly. Indiscriminate killing is the policy here, and therefore it has a capacity to look random if you don't recognize what's going on. To the onlooker, from afar, you're like, oh, well, this seems like a big mistake. Like, it's not like they bombed them. They shot them directly. They assassinated these people. They executed them. The only reason why it looks disorganized is because you can't have complete command over all of your troops and give them the directive to ethnically cleanse people. And even then, sometimes they do, like the Golani brigades and whatnot. But this is how you unfold ethnic cleansing, systematize, process ethnic cleansing in a way that looks disorganized and disordered, because you're just letting them do whatever they want to do and showing them that there is no accountability internally within the military structure. If they knew that what they had done was appropriate, they wouldn't have fucking buried the ambulances, by the way. Israel has responded to footage showing its forces killing on clearly marked ambulances on Rafah on March 23rd. The military said Golani Brigade soldiers under the 14th Armored Brigade had staged an ambush around 4 a.m. in the Tel Al Sultan neighborhood. A video aired on Israel's Channel 14 in early April shows a Golani commander briefing troops before the operation. Here are some of the words that this brigade had said. Everyone you meet is an enemy. You recognize a person, open fire, eliminate them, and move on. Why we create immense military pressure. We kill a lot of enemies, take a lot of their land. That's how the hostages are returned to this point. Everyone you meet is an enemy. You recognize a person, you open fire, eliminate, and move on. Don't get confused on the subject. I've never seen a situation where they so clearly detail all of this out, where they so clearly detail it out. They're like, this is an ethnic cleansing. This is a genocide. We're doing a genocide. We love doing ethnic cleansing. Here's how you are going to do the ethnic cleansing. You're going to kill every single person that you see. It does not matter. Over and over again. And people are still like, I don't know, man. I really want to feel like Israel's in the right here. So your statements are actually hurting my feelings. And so I'm going to cynically claim that this is anti-Semitism. If you defend Israel, you're a horrible monster. That's it. You're an awful person. Look at this pathological liar. Israel's deputy foreign minister receives talking points mid-interview. What is this?
Sharon, let's begin with these bodies that have been found in southern Gaza. Should there be an investigation, and why is Israel killing emergency workers?
So this is absolutely incorrect. There has been no such case like that. But
how do you know?
There have been mistakes, you know. The events with the Central World Kitchen, that's been a grave mistake. But the fact is, I don't know what case you're referring to, but...
So Hamas killing innocent civilians is okay? Did I say that? Dude, it's so instructive that Israel slaughtering Red Cross medical workers and then putting them in a unmarked mass grave, including the goddamn ambulance in the unmarked mass grave that they put forth. And all you have is, well, Hamas. Israel is worse than Hamas. Please get it through your dense skull. Mathematically, Israel is insanely, like, it's not even on the same moral playing field to begin with. Israel is the reason why Hamas is a militant resistance group. Because of this shit. Because Israel's been doing this for 76 years. You're out of your fucking mind. What are we talking about, man? Wake up. Oh, what about October 7? What about Hamas? What about Hamas? Israel's done an October 7 virtually every week since October 7. What do you mean, what about October 7? Israel was doing October 7 shit, kidnapping Palestinians illegally in illegally occupied territory in the West Bank every single day before October 7. The fuck do you mean October 7?
Every event that you get from Hamas, you don't take it with a grain of salt. You take it with a shovel of salt. Hamas has been spreading propaganda since day one.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm talking about the Red Crescent.
Hold on. A research center, okay, from London actually provide information and evidence how Hamas is inflating number, how they're actually reducing the age of some of the victims.
You're not disputing that 15 bodies have been found, have you? Or that 8 of them are Red Crescent workers?
Look, I think that if I haven't heard about this case,
oh my God.
Look, every case that actually happened, we investigate in depth. Okay?
Oh my God. Dude, so bad. So fucking bad. How are you this bad at your job? That is, oh my God. Thank God they're bad. I guess it's a unique predicament because, like, how can you be good at this? You know? God damn.
If there's an investigation happening regarding a case, I would be very short and very, cautious about making declarative and statements as we've heard before.
Freak. Actual freak. I'm genuinely shocked at that Jesus Christ people still swallow this propaganda from Israel whole. Unbelievable. No, I don't think that there are as many people as you think that are just like eating this propaganda whole. I think people are just like either oblivious or I think overall people are just oblivious to it because the media just covers this in the worst way possible and it's happening far away.
Headlights.
Now, that narrative's been upended.
Tonight, a military official admitted the soldiers were mistaken about the lights and the threat they were under. The army insists 6 of the dead belonged to Hamas, but it denies they were executed at close range. The changing
That's still a lie. It's not a changing story. They've just been lying since the beginning. They've never stopped lying. They're still lying. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
Story, though, is only increasing the pressure.
Like, look. Media cares about media narratives. This is a major story. The atrocities itself is obviously a story in and of itself. But even if you're not covering the atrocity, Israel's lying is a story in and of itself. Israel lying like this is a part of this story. It's just a different story. You should be like, this is so crazy that like they just make shit up completely. And even when they're found, they keep making shit up. They continue to make more shit up.
For an independent investigation.
This footage lay buried for a week in the Gaza sand. Now it is forcing Israel to give answers and adding to the calls for accountability. Dan Johnson, BBC News in Jerusalem.
Normally, the level of credibility decreases with each lie, but Israel's level stays constant across MSM. It's because Israel is America. The only other place where the level of credibility does not decrease is the United States of America. At a certain point, the level of credibility for mainstream media decreases as a direct consequence of consistently defending these sorts of erroneous claims, these sorts of like open lies. And that's it. So what Israel is doing will take out mainstream credibility, like the credibility of mainstream press, or what remains of the credibility of mainstream press. That's it. Because it seems to me like the American government is not going to drop Israel. And on top of that, it seems to me like the mainstream press is not going to stop supporting Israel unconditionally and vociferously. And therefore, it's going to turn into what more and more people just feeling resentful towards the institutions that defend this shit. Do you see what I'm saying?
And finally, Gary, we've had the reports from the Israeli military admitting that its initial accounts of what happened when 15 emergency workers were killed on March the 23rd, they've admitted mistakes in those initial accounts. What do we understand actually did take place?
Well, in some sense, they've been forced to admit these mistakes because a video emerged yesterday which showed these vehicles, these ambulances and a fire truck, approaching.
Words don't have any meaning anymore, dude. A mistake implies that you didn't intend to assassinate these healthcare workers. A mistake implies that you don't want to do it again. What Israel did to the healthcare workers is not a mistake. It's just regular process. And they've done it every single day. This is not the first time this has happened. I cannot stress this enough. Israel has killed hundreds of healthcare workers. Israel's tortured doctors, kidnapped them and tortured them. The mistake is that they got caught.
Where their occupants were actually killed with all their lights on and with their signals flashing. Now, the Israeli authorities had originally said that they were acting suspiciously. They had no lights on, no emergency signals flashing, and that's why they'd been engaged.
For the record, even if those ambulances did not have their lights on, what do you mean it's valid to shoot at ambulances? Like, even Israel's initial defense is psychotic and only works because there is so much dehumanizing propaganda against Palestinians. Their initial defense also doesn't meet the standard of international law. Think about that.
By the Israeli forces in this suburb, this area just outside of Rafah in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Now, they say that they're looking into it. They say that at least 6 of those who were killed had links with Hamas. They have produced no evidence to prove that or to demonstrate that at this stage. And they have said that none of these people that were killed were armed. They were then buried in these shallow graves covered over by sand. The Israeli authorities say they did that to prevent wild animals from taking the bodies of these people. But it did then take a week for the UN to be able to find this sort of shallow grave, I suppose you'd call it. And some of the people that examined those bodies have suggested that these were sort of execution-style killings, perhaps some people with their hands tied.
Yeah, I mean, it was execution-style killings.